is all about the learning and behavior modification. What was about the attitude, the you can see job satisfaction, the job commitment. What was the exact significance of these terms? So we will going to learn in today's session. So let's begin with attitude. As in the earlier session, I already explained what is attitude. So attitude is all about if you see the particular you can say definition. So attitude is all about that what we learned through our experiences, what we you can say share our experiences about one person to the others, like how we give our opinions, our you can say thoughts or experiences about the people, about the various situations, circumstances, objects which will it relate to be. So, in other words, I could say it refers to a mental stage of readness, because how you read the you can say the thoughts about the other person elementally. So it refers to a persistent tendency that how you feel or behave in a particular way towards some object, towards some persons, and with some situation. If let's take an example, if in a particular scenario of a road accident, then your attitude while having your experience before, and while you what is your you can see through an eye witness, you can show your attitude in your words through your experience, and you have organized your thoughts, and accordingly you can speak up. So that is a way that how you feel and behave in a various situation, and accordingly that can be expressed in form of expression, in the form of words, and that exactly called attitude, because attitude is one of the characteristic of a person personality, or it is an individual process where you will learn and experienced about your own thoughts, view about other people, persons, objects, situation, or any of the events, and that's called attitude. Now we talk about the components of attitudes, as we can, in other words, we can say that attitudes are the evaluative statement that before I conclude about object, I conclude about the people, I conclude about the events, whether favorable or unfavorable, I need to evaluate all of the parameters, and before that I cannot give or show my attitude towards them. And that's called the one of the nature or one of the component. You can say that before evaluate you cannot show your attitudes, or once you show your attitude you need to evaluate all of the parameters before you give your you can see statements, whether it would be favorable or unfavorable. So attitudes, it's not as same, you can say in reference to value, because value is all about the you can say imaginative elements, whether what is right or wrong or anything desirable. But attitude, it's not like that. But that's true that these both terms are interrelated to each other, because in our attitude, it always shows that what is right and what is wrong, what to feel or act or behave in a right or wrong way, and what things are to be desirable, and that will be shown through attitude only. So it's also called, it is one of the, I could say, a psychological factor in a particular person, within an individual, that the values can be seen in our attitude, that automatically the other person can also you can see seeing that what exactly he has to say. So there are three components of an attitude. The first one is cognition, affect, and behavior. So automatically we talk about cognition. It is a psychological feature, and the second one is affect, and the third one is behavior. So there is a belief that discrimination is always be a wrong. So this is a value statement. So if any, and this is also the one of the you can say example of cognition component of an attitude. It means like partiality. It's not ethical. So it is a value statement where we show up our values in a form of a fact or in a form of a statement, and that's called a cognitive component of an attitude. So if you can see that education is a policy, so that is a value statement, and that is also called the cognition because it can be you can say it can be evaluate easily through responses of the respondents, and it is also considered as a psychological factor uh, in under this particular term attitude. So the next one is affect. So definitely, if someone was perfect, someone who is showing partiality, who are discriminating between the genders, that automatically it is an affect component of an attitude. So if someone obviously discriminating between the genders, so automatically in a particular you can say job profile in an organization, so definitely it is one of the affect component of our attitude, and it can be it will be shown in our attitude if anything or anyone affect. So that is the one of the component of an attitude. The next one is if someone has a nature of a discrimination, so automatically their behavior will also get changed. The behavior would become negative if any discrimination is to be done, or it would remain silent. So that is also the one of the attitude of a behavior. You can say in case of you can say behavior component of attitude. Now we talk about the factors in attitude formation. So these are the factors where the attitude can be formed or will be formed. That is the group factors and personality factors. So when we talk about group factor, categorized into three parameters. The first one is family. Second one is reference group, and the third one is social class, and the second one is personality factors. So let's begin and study one by one. So, before I come to the factors in attitude formation, so growth factors, when you have an interaction with the family and in the references group, your peer group, and your interaction among the social groups, so definitely your attitude, whether it would influence other, whether positively or negatively, or whether it would, and your behavior shows your attitude, your cognition your cognition component will also show your attitude among your families, reference group, and social class. So it is very important that family and the groups and the social groups will also always be a part of your attitude formation. And obviously if they give any statements, whether it would be evaluated favorable or unfavorable, or it would be unevaluated statements, so automatically your attitude will show differently with the others. So that's the main reason that these factors would also influence positively or negatively in a particular group, whether it would be within the family, within the reference, or within the social group. Next is personality factors also important, that how you speak, the way you act, the way you express your ways, yourself, and the you can see your gestures. The all these factors is also a part of the personality, which also helps to form your attitude. It would be either positive or negative, rational or irrational, impulsive or submissive. So all these, you can see, personality factors also very, very important in the formation of your own attitude. So your attitude always remains to be a positive when you are interaction with the family, when you are interact with your peers or colleagues or references groups, when you interact with your social groups. So automatically social class is also the one of the factor where your attitude could be formed, as obviously it also shows your social status as well, that how much you are actually known by others, how much you are popular within the organization social groups, and how much you are active in a, you can see, in a particular organizational group. So that is also very important, that and it always show up your attitude and how you basically behave or act or feel within such groups. And the more and more you can say show the qualities that you show up, so definitely it will score high when it when we measure the personality, you can say, test. And of course the personality factor has always been important. We're talking about attractiveness. A person would be a silence and an introvert or a very extrovert. It would be rational or rational, partial or impartial. So all these personality factors is also helps your own attitude to form. So if your personality is positive, so definitely your attitude will also become positive, and vice versa. So obviously these two factors, group and personality factors, which also helps to form your attitude, and these factors in real also helps to, so that to form attitude, and your attitude will become positive or negative. Now, of course, the attitude are always relevant for organizational behavior, as having a long discussion about the attitude term, and people develop attitudes obviously towards different people, objects, and ideas, even situations differently. And the various, you can say, important parameters or the aspects related to the behavior of the employees in the organization. So these are the aspects which are very important in how you can say how your attitude will become changed when a satisfaction exists, when any involvement exists, or when any commitment exists with organization. So these are the three main parameters or the aspect which are related to the behavior of the employees in an organization. So the first one is job satisfaction, and the second one is job involvement, and the third one is organizational commitment. So these are the aspects where your behavior or the behavior of the employees in the organization can be easily, you can see, shown, and can be easily portrayed. And you can also hold a positions which will you satisfy your own self and your own personality. So let's begin with job satisfaction. So job satisfaction, it is an individual journal attitudes, not towards others. It's towards your own job, his or her job. And of course, it, the various levels of satisfaction would exist. It would be the high level of satisfaction, which always shows a positive attitude towards your job. And when we talk about the moderate satisfaction, it always shows a moderate attitudes towards your job. Okay, fine. It would be rational or irrational. Okay, you will be very serious about the job, or you might not be serious about the job. So that is called a moderate attitude towards your job or moderate satisfaction. So the next one is inadequate satisfaction. That means you are having, you can say, a negative attitudes towards the job, that you are not even serious or not even considering your job very seriously. So once if you are satisfied, so definitely you have a positive attitudes towards your job profile or task. And you if you have a moderate or negative, so definitely your inadequate satisfaction will always equals to a negative attitudes towards the job. And moderate, it's a balanced between the positive and negative. When we talk about positive, okay, you are somehow satisfied with your job, but ultimately you have a drawbacks with your jobs as well, which might not you to be satisfied in your job profile. So that is the depends. Your attitude always depends on the satisfaction level towards your job. When we talk about the employees' attitude, jobs and job satisfaction, these two main terms will be used interchangeably, because obviously when we talk about satisfaction, we can talk about attitude as well, because both are actually relate to each other and can be used interchangeably. So it always speak out when the people speak about the employee attitudes, it means the employee job satisfaction. So automatically these two terms are interdependent to each other. So it depends upon the levels of satisfaction, and accordingly the level of satisfaction, the level of attitude can be, you can say, prepared, and you can see show up that on what level of attitude a particular individual stands for in an organization. So this is all about the conceptual framework, and with reference to attitude, uh, on the has been discussed here. Now we talk about the another, you can say, more particular parameters to discuss upon the job satisfaction. Job satisfaction is not only about that, okay, you are satisfied with the job, that is the job satisfaction. No, it's all about your collection of your feelings, your belief, in respect of your current job. So if you're working in an organization and having a role or a position, or holding a role or position in an organization, so you need, that means you have a collection of feelings and beliefs towards your current job, and that exactly called the job satisfaction. So if it depends, if you're having a positive satisfaction, that means you are working, you are having a positive attitude towards your job. So, in addition, the attitudes about a job as a whole, people can have an attitude about the various aspects of their job, such as what would be the timings of the job, what would be the kind of work, the co-workers, pay compensation. So, every parameter or every component of the job, you having a different attitudes towards every component of your job. So accordingly, your attitude would build up whether it would be very boring. I cannot do such work on my laptop. So it shows, you can say, moderate attitude, whether okay, you got a job, you are somehow satisfied, but it seems like boring working on a laptop at this particular point of time. So that is called a moderate attitude with respect of in respect of your job, and even the work that you are doing on every hour, and your attitude would get positive, moderate, and negative. So that is why the attitude depends upon your satisfaction level. So if you are satisfied working on a laptop, that means it is you are showing up a positive attitude towards your work, towards your task. Job satisfaction is the most important work attitude in organizational behavior. So if anyone wants to evaluate the attitude levels. So automatically, they just the questionnaires relate to the satisfaction towards the job, because it always affects a wide range of behavior and contribute to working workers' well-being. And as I told, it's a wide range of behavior. That means the feeling that you might have during the work, the belief that you may have or might have during the work, and automatically it shows your attitude, your work attitude towards your tasks, towards your work. And ultimately it also the one of the factor of the organizational behavior, because it affects the behavior, it contributes to the workers well-being. So that's why the attitude automatically changes according to the behavior and easily can be evaluated by you can say the rating scales of the satisfaction and the attitude level. Now we talk about the job satisfaction and employee performance. So when we talk about job satisfaction and employee performance, so automatically your performance is can be evaluated based on your satisfaction towards your job. If you're satisfied with your job, you have performed the task very well, so definitely the performance of your particular work will be rewarded. So definitely it depends upon the three main parameters, that the satisfaction and productivity, satisfaction and abstention, and the satisfaction in employee turnover. So when we talk about the productivity, that if you're more productive, if you achieve the targets on time or before the time, that means your productivity is very good. And why your productivity is very good? Because you are satisfied with your job profile, because you are happy with your profile, you are satisfied, happy, and you love to work the work that you really wanted in an organization, that you really get it in that particular organization, and automatically your productivity would get increased. And when your productivity would get increased, you are performing very good in an organization. So there are different levels of satisfaction, there are different levels of you can say performances on which the employee has been evaluated by the organization itself. The next one is satisfaction optimism. So there are various factors. We talk about the in terms of work turnover, in terms of you can see the task, the work job task. So if you're doing a task or or performing a task in your organization, just because of you're satisfied you with that particular profile, you are actually satisfied the task that you are working, or the project that you are working at present, and you are happy with it, to getting a job, to getting that project in hand, and ultimately you are satisfied to work on that project. So automatically your performance of an employee will also you can say satisfied when when you are performing a particular work task very well. So accordingly, the satisfaction and optimism, it's are interrelated to each other, where the evaluation concern will be evaluated according to a time period by an organization or by a management head. The next one is satisfaction and employee turnover. So when we talk about the satisfaction and employee turnover, so automatically these two terms are very interrelated to each other. So if you are satisfied, obviously the team being as a member, so it would be satisfied towards performing their own tasks. So motivation, leadership, even how you obey the you can say orders of your seniors, and accordingly the work has been performed very well, then ultimately it means that you are actually satisfied with your job, and whatever the come in your way, the challenges, automatically you can do through the you can say motivational factors of your seniors, the experience that you might get from your senior, or the experience taught, the experience of their or of their past employees, and accordingly you can learn from them and increase your turnover being as an employee, as you are satisfied of holding that particular position in an organization. So these are the three main parameter in respect of your satisfaction towards the job, that is the production, optimism, and employee turnover. So when we talk about combining these three terms, it always denotes your satisfaction level, because your productive would be increased, your optimism would be more and more better, your turnover towards the work and how you benefit to the organization, that also work out, and it depends on your satisfaction only. So if you're happy with your job, in performing the job, so definitely your whole performances based on these parameters would also become good. So that's why your performance of an employee and the satisfaction of the job are equally related to each other. If you are satisfied with the job, so you always think upon the that how to improve, how to make my performance would be better. Will be how to make my performance better. So this is how the satisfaction and that the performances of the employee will be evaluated on these main three parameters, that is the productivity, optimism, and employee turnover. Now, these are the attitudes which are associated with the job satisfaction. So, when we talk about the job satisfaction, there is a various factors that comes into the employee mind, and that are the work itself. Whether they are the work that they have given to them is actually worthwhile for me or not, the packages, the salary packages or pay scale which has been given to me and present, when actually the same pay scale would be getting in another organization with the same profile. So some these kind of attitudes would come up in the employee minds, and it also relate to your satisfaction. If your attitude will become positive on these several factors, so definitely you feel satisfied towards your job. So the you can see the several factors which are related to the attitudes, and the satisfaction would represent that is the work itself, the pay scale, the promotion opportunities, the supervision, and co-workers. So these are the five main parameters which work on, and the organization will always renew and review all these factors, so that the workers feel safe, get a safe environment, and feel a job secure into it. So when the promotion opportunities are more, the workers or employees are more satisfied. Supervision, if good is good, then definitely they will perform their jobs more well. Co-workers, if you're working, you can say as a team and be build up as a team member or a team head. So definitely the whatever the task given to them and be considered as a challenge, they will complete that challenge on time, being as a team and its members, and the work itself, you're satisfied with your job, so definitely you are satisfied. And especially the one of the most important key factor is pay scales, and everyone is working for funds or money. So definitely it all be this particular one of the factor which is related to attitude always been talk about that okay, what would be the salary package? If the salary package is low, definitely your attitude could become low or negative, and I don't want to do this job as the package is very low. So it would be good the packages would be you can say high or low, depends on the work profile, and accordingly you will be satisfied. So it doesn't mean that if your salary is low and the work is also low, that is no relation to each other. So it depends your pay packages, it depends upon the work profile. It's not depend upon the work that you actually uh, did or you will do. So your pay scale depends the position that you hold, and if you perform better and your performance is good, automatically the pay scale would get increased. The next one is outcomes of job satisfaction. So if you see the diagram, the attitudes that the work itself, co-workers, pay, working conditions, supervision, job security. So definitely these kind of attitudes always come up in an employee mind and in employee behavior while they're performing a job duties in an organization. And what would be the result of the job satisfaction? If you're satisfied, your productivity would get increased, would getting more and more better. Turnover would also be good. Activism is also that we talk about your motivational qualities, your leadership qualities will also get improved, and of course, being as a citizenship behavior, your behavior towards different things, towards a different person's object would also get changed, and if there is anything negative, it also get improved day by day in an organization. So these are the attitudes and these are the outcomes of job satisfactions that will help an employee to organize or to improvise yourself towards your job, and accordingly definitely your performance is good, then your pay scale accordingly will get increased. So before time you cannot expect anything. So according to the time you can expect and apply for it, and definitely the success in your hands. So this is the and it always depends on your attitude only. If satisfaction and attitude would are used interchangeably and interrelated to each other. So accordingly, if you understand the major factors which is related or related to the factors, so ultimately you can also understand the outcomes of your job satisfaction. And if the outcomes are good, so definitely you will reach or reaching to a success. So these are the factors, these are the outcomes which are associated with the job satisfaction. Now we are talking about the job satisfaction and customer satisfaction. Evidence always there are various plenty of facts which has been researched whether nationally or internationally that when the employee are satisfied or fully satisfied, then definitely it increases the customer satisfaction and loyalty. Why? Because they are happy, they make the customer more happy, friendly, and if God they're very responsive, they appreciate the customers and respond their each and every query, so that the customer would get satisfied about the services of the organization. if if the employees are satisfied, if the employees are satisfied, so definitely the loyalty, the trust, the customer satisfaction will always be there. So automatically, if you are dissatisfied, you just say negatively about to the customers, and ultimately you are not loyal to what's your job. It's not about the loyalty with the organization. It's all about the loyalty with your job, that you the position that you hold in an organization. Most of the researchers always have an evidence that that the employee should be loyal to an organization, but I say the employees should be loyal towards your job, the position that you hold, and accordingly it should portray your satisfaction in an organization or towards the organization. So whatever the duties that you have, just obey that, just perform well, and accordingly the customers will also get satisfied, and the loyalty and the trust among the customers and with you an organization would get stronger and stronger. So that's why the job satisfaction and customer satisfaction is also interrelated to each other. When we talk about the customer retention and defension, are highly dependent on how you deal with the customers, how you come upfront and deal with customers and make them satisfied. So when a satisfied employees are more likely to be friendly and upbeat and responsive, then definitely customer appreciate your efforts. And when the customers appreciate your efforts and having a good feedback, uh, you can see by them. So definitely you are more satisfied, you're more and more concentrate about and focused about your job, and it will reveal a success towards the packages towards which are really based or highly based on your performances. Now we talk about the dissatisfied customers. Of course, if the customers are dissatisfied, why? Because the employee are not satisfied with their job. Employee are not satisfied with the projects of work that they actually performing. So the more employees, the if the employees are more rude with the customers, so definitely the customers are dissatisfied. So that the customers are satisfied, that means they are not rude, they are very happy, they are very friendly, they put a smile on their face while having a conversation with the customer. So definitely the fact is the customer appreciate their efforts, appreciate their work. If you talk about the hospitality sector, you can see when you welcome into a hotel, one of the you can see staff always appreciate your welcome and welcome you with a long smile. That means it shows that the particular staff is satisfied with their job, and they always make their customers, their clients more happy about, you can see while showing up they are more, you can see, and responsive. So automatically when a particular staff is satisfied in hospitality sector, so they become rude with the customers, and they become thoughtless that what to thought and how to respond with the customers when they actually not satisfied with their job, and unnecessarily they are more likely to be dissatisfied. Now, the next concept is organizational commitment. So, organizational commitment is where the employees identify with a particular organization and goals, and of course, maintain a membership in an organization. In an organization. So, organizational commitment, it refers a particular level of state where an employee own identify with a particular organization and its goals to achieve and always maintain a membership, a commitment in an organization, that I would work with this organization, I have committed with this organization, and whatever the goals that need to be achieved, I will achieve within a specified period of time with that organization only, and that exactly called the organizational commitment, and that is called one of the, you can see, a personality of an individual. And commitment is one of the, you can see, characteristic of an individual towards that whatever he has decided to deal with, whatever he is decided to maintain with or to associate with, or being as a member within an organization, he will, you can say, stuck with that organization only. because he has committed to with all those responsibilities the organization has given to him or her. And that's called the organizational commitment, where the employee finds himself to be committed with the goals of an organization and maintain every membership in an organization. Most of the researchers has evidence and demonstrate that relationship between the organizational commitment and both optimism and turnover is having a positive relationship or a positive association to each other. And automatically, when we talk about the organizational commitments, obviously everyone organization is committed to every member of the organization. So automatically, if there the two perspective of the satisfaction, that means the outcome of the job satisfaction, that is the optimism and turnover, so both are actually interrelated, and these are the outcomes where the employees are satisfied. That means the employees are committed to an organization to achieve their goals and just put up as a position where everyone should know about it. When we talk about the individual level of organizational commitment is a better indicator or a better measurement of turnover, then you can say, then you can more and more use the job satisfaction, you can say cautionary or a predictor tool. As on a global basis, when we talk about or measuring the job satisfaction, so a predictor tool will be used, that how much the employees are satisfied. And when we talk about the turnover, so automatically it always valid how much the employee are committed to increase the capital or the turnover of the company when it comes to the investments of funds, when it comes to the revenue that they might get in an organization. So it becomes more and more global, and accordingly, the organization responds as a whole rather than be focused on a job satisfaction. So turnover indicator. So if the organization are working and committed to the organization, so automatically then the organization would expect from their employees to increase the profits or revenues, and of course the turnover of the you can say organization or company. Then in that case the job satisfaction predictor tool doesn't work. That means automatically if the turnover is increasing, so actually the employees are well satisfied towards their job because they are performing, you can say, more and more well with their outside zone. So that's why they will and automatically give a response to an organization as a whole, then is job satisfaction. So when the turnover results is showing up, so automatically the satisfaction results will come up in front of the organization of every employee. So that's why the organizational commitment is also one of the tool which is related to a job satisfaction, which is related to your attitude. And being in an organization, a commitment is always be a must to maintain. Being as a member, it is must in an organization. That's why you will become happy and satisfied with your job. So if you are working for the money, that's perfectly fine, but automatically you should loyal to your work in an organization as well. And various research studies are also been demonstrated that the organizational commitment is one of the most important influential factors which also influence the outcome of the job satisfaction, either positively or negatively. So it depends upon the members who are working in an organization and their attitudes. Now we talk about the learning and behavior modification. What is all about learning, and based on learning, how the behavior would get changed, and it can be modified through using the various theoretical theories or which has been used practically, being as a tool to evaluate the learning process and behavior process in detail. So let's begin. What is learning? So what is learning? Learning is a permanent change in behavior. So if you learn something new, your behavior will also get changed. And the tendency of changing your behavior very frequently or infrequently, regularly, continuously, consistently, if your permanent change has been seen in your behavior, that means you are learning, you can say, according with the changing environment, and that's called learning. So learning is a relatively permanent change in behavior that exists according to the person interaction with the environment. So the things that a person might not know, so if he start learning about the new things, that would be beneficial for him, and that can be learned through the interaction with that particular environment, whether it's related to education, whether it's related to hospitality, whether it's related to psychological, whether it's related to behavioral science, whether it's related to management, etc. Now we talk about the ABCs of behavior modification. So there are three main parameters, and along with the example has been given to have a more clarity about the ABC parameters of behavior modification. So it depends, the modification is to be done, it depends upon the behavior, the time period of your behavior. It will be what happens before behavior, we call incident, what person says and did or does, it's, we talk about the behavior, and what would be the consequences. So whatever you are thinking before you show up your behavior in your work and to others, whether it would be family, any reference group or any social group, that is called antecedents. When we talk about when what happens your behave before behavior, what happens, that ultimately what the person says and what the person does in that particular situation, in that particular event, that's called behavior. And what would be the result, what would be the outcome after behavior, that called consequences. For example, attendance bonus system is announced. So if anything bonus has been announced in an organization, what would be your behavior? You will employ attends a scheduled work. So whatever the work has been scheduled to different persons or different employees, they attend very, you can say, on a timely basis. And what would be the consequences, or what would be the outcome if their behavior shows very well? Then definitely the consequence would be the employee receive the attendance bonus. Okay, he's a regular permanent attendant, and he's regular in his job, definitely the bonus would be given. And such kind of behavior can be easily modified. If you're if an employee behavior is not positive, show some opportunities, or some promotion opportunities, some the opportunities that their behavior would get changed, they would be attentive, they would be more responsive, and accordingly, if some outcome, some something that they will get, be it as a motivation opportunity, be it as a motivation reward, that would be definitely helpful in their modifying the behavior. And that is called the ABCS of behavior modification. That is antecedents, behavior, consequences. So anything would be good where the behavior could show up among the employees. It would be like bonus, it would be commission, it would be you can say increment of the salary. If you can see the ABC of behavior modification analysis, if the if any increment or if your promotion has been granted and your salary package has been announced, so definitely you will be more focused about your job. That's called behavior. You're focused. You are attending the regular work, the scheduled work that you are going to perform in the future, and ultimately you will get the promotion, and when you get the promotion, then ultimately your salary package will get increased, and that's called ABC behavior modification. If something happens, it happens. When something is happened, your behavior would say something to us, whether in the sense of you attend regularly, you're performing your task very good, and ultimately the outcome would be you will get receive something. It would be reward, it would be bonus, it would be commission or anything which has been announced by the organization, and that's called ABCs of behavior modification. Now, this is called a shaping behavior management tool, a positive reinforcement or negative reinforcement, punishment, and extinction. When we talk about the positive reinforcement, we are talking about the positive announcements, a positive opportunities where they will get, you can see the rewards in the form of cash, in the form of grant. That's called the positive reinforcement. When we talk about, and ultimately it says something about your behavior that you can see in the ABC and behavior modification analysis tool. When we talk about the negative enforcement, and of course you are already negative reinforcement with anything announced, and of course the behavior would be negative, so that means that reinforcement, that means the outcome would also become negative. So it depends upon your behavior, it depends upon the particular situations where being announced, and your behavior would be decided accordingly by your own self. So that is called the negative, means there is no motivation, there is no rewards to be given. But in case of positive, when the motivation factors, the supervision factors are more, the rewards, it would be cash or grant would be given to the employees based on their performances. So it gives a motivation inside that okay, I have been rewarded, so definitely I have a huge responsibility to perform our job very well. But when we talk about negatively, there is no sense to motivate, as there's so much negativity being enforced that it would be impossible or take a long period of time to remove or to reduce that. So ultimately, it will not. If negativity is more in your behavior, and if any situation arises negatively, so definitely we are already negative. So definitely your behavior will also become negative. So there is no reward or no surprises which has been announced by the organization will not be given because of your negative behavior. The next one is punishment. So definitely, it's a penalty. We are not talking about punishment. Okay, you have done something wrong and you will get suspended from the job. It's not like that. It's talking about your shaping of behavior. So if you get the punishment, so punishment is also one of the manageable tool to improve your performances, to improve your your manner, that how you perform your job well. So it could be like penalty. So like for example, in a college, There are plenty of the students who has been punished with a fine 5,000, 10,000, and after that, after fining them, they will not do it again. So they will do their studies, they will do their breakfast, lunch, dinner according to the time. If there is a delay, a penalty will be imposed. So this is another way of shaping up your behavior in a positive manner. So mostly people thinks that punishment, okay, punishment, it is a negative behavior or showing up towards the other person, towards other people. No, punishment is a tool where a person will be improvised in their work, in their studies, in their job that they hold in an organization. So punishment is a penalty where to improve the organizational, improve the employee behavior while performing the task in an organization, and that's called punishment. And which shaping up your behavior to improve your behavior, that what the person sees all about and what the person does in an organization. So that's called punishment. The next one is extremism. It means once you will get the punishment, there is a sense of humor, there is a sense of you can say togetherness, that whatever the outcome would come along with the satisfaction, along with the learning, the employee would accept that. So it's an acceptance power that whatever the come in a way, whatever the comes in the plate, will definitely it would work out and will improve and satisfy own self in their own way. So if anything something wrong which is not being acceptable by the organization, then automatically it would be suspended or it would be transferred and according to the situations that what type of work that they have performed in a wrongful way or act. So that is, and accordingly the behavior would shape up. So if you can see in the crime patrols, a lot of incidences, a lot of situations that accordingly every person who act, the behavior would get changed. So and of course they will be punished and they will be expelled later on, and it would be imprisonment being as a punishment, or would be you can see just thrown out from the house, and that shape up our behavior. So these are the following in situations where the behavior can be evaluated, where a new learning for the employees can be built up, and these are the manageable tools where a particular organization will try up or to shape up the behavior of the employees who are currently or you can currently working in an organization. The next one is learning through feedback. Definitely, if we talk about being as a teacher, it is a learning process. Teaching is a learning process, and it can be learned through feedback of the learners. So whatever the feedback of the learners comes in our way, so definitely it will be improved our abilities, our capabilities, and whatever the information that we receives, so it will be improved in the future or upcoming you can see sessions as well. So that's why learning is always a long process, is a continuous process, and it could be learned through feedback of others. So any information about the consequences of our behavior. So learning through feedback, so automatically it depends upon the behavior, because learning and behavior all interrelate to each other. So whatever the information comes about the consequences of our behavior, it should be through feedback. Clarify the role perception. If we clarify the role perception, it can be done through learning, and the learning can be done through feedback. So clarify your role, your work role, or perceptions. It's through by learning and feedback. Next is corrective feedback improves ability. So when we talk about corrective feedback, sometimes it happens the feedback could not be, the feedback has not been given accurately or clearly. So if any corrective feedback will also improve the ability of an employee. A positive feedback always motivates the behavior of the employee in a future. So that's called the learning process through the feedback. So if the feedbacks will be given about the positive feedback, always motivates someone. Corrective feedback always improve the ability. When we talk about the feedback also clarify the role and perceptions. So if you're getting the feedback, your perceptions towards the reality will also get changed. When any information about the consequence of behavior that could be known through feedback. So these are the main 4 points where the feedback always help us to learn something new. And if you learn something new, so definitely you accept the challenges related to the new work and try to complete as much in a very effective and efficient manner. So that is the way that these 4 points are very important, and the learning process will goes on or will become continuous through the feedback process. This is the multi-source feedback on to whom you can get the feedback and how the employee would be evaluated through the feedback. This is called a 360-degree angle. So the employee is not being evaluated by a senior or a head of the management. It is evaluated among all. Whether employees evaluated, mostly says employee, it will be evaluated by the organization only. But no, employee can be evaluated by customer. If the customers are satisfied, happy, employee will also satisfy